And we'll build the audience and then we'll start. So let me
Good call. All right.
I'm going to hit the link and I'll put it up on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few more questions since I printed off the bunch this
I
afternoon.
haven't frozen the thread. We're live for our final show of the night. We're answering.
Are you putting that on Facebook?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Christ almighty, Brad. I wasn't even like...
Sorry, dog.
You're like, oh, we're already live. I'm like, what the?
But we're not. I haven't officially started yet. I'm just updating the Facebook page and I'm updating the front page.
So, did you ever figure out the workaround? Speaking of which,
I haven't messed with anything since you and I last did that.
okay, we'll have to do it again. We'll have to try it again.
Oops.
Maybe I'll pay the $30 here in a week.
No, it shouldn't be a purchase thing. It's a matter of routing. It's like electronics is often like routing water. Like where does it have to route to get a signal?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, let me fix this.
Let me go into the message board questions.
Hey, hello, 9 viewers.
I asked for some clarification from Cheese Dick.
Yeah, that one last question that he
Yeah,
goes out.
I haven't.
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying now. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ashley says her and Jack have a date and she can't do this last show.
A date?
So,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow, this late.
12:30 at night.
No, they have a date tomorrow. They don't.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
I might run to the Burger Shack.
The Burger King. again.
Oh yeah, Burger King. That's right.
All right. We're live on the air. Be respectful. Be respectful. Okay. Let's see. I've got the message boards up. Let me pull up the YouTube so I can see what people are chatting to us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, somebody's like, well, we'll do it live.
Well, I'm building the audience. We now have 11 viewers as opposed to when I just instantly click. So
We'll do it live.
How are you, 11 YouTubers? How are you guys doing? Probably doesn't work.
I mentioned that it was flat. Yeah, I did mention it was Flash that was the best man. Yeah, Symbio Bro said, was commenting on the last one.
Well, Harry was the best man.
Oh, was he?
Yeah. Flash was a groomsman.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Harry was the best man because
All right.
Harry was still alive.
Harry was still alive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I've eliminated all the superfluous stuff.
Thank you. Well, I better refresh it then.
Yeah, you better do that. We only have one question on the next page.
Okay, that's fine. Here, let's lock it. You want to lock it or want me to lock it?
I got it. I'm already.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, is everybody ready?
Yep.
All right, coming down 3. Let's make this an hour, if not less.
Okay.
Yeah, I would like to go to sleep.
Yeah, same here. Okay, coming down. I would like to edit that first episode, put it up tonight.
Well, that's up to you. That's up to
Coming
you.
down to 3. I'd like to do this other thing.
Like what? What would you like to do?
Nothing. I was imitating you. You were like, all right, coming down in 3. Wait, I'd like to do.
So you're saying I just did
and you say I have ADD.
No, you can't. No, I said you can't add. No.
Brad is a heart surgeon compared next to you, dude.
You're a jerk tonight.
Oh my gosh, you two have really been feisty. By the way, these last 2 episodes I thought were absolutely hysterical. Bravo to all of you for bringing the fun tonight. This has been a blast.
Broken damn headphone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I thought you bought like a special headphone because it tilts a little bit. But
No, it's because it's broke.
Oh man.
Oh
It
yeah.
sucks, dude.
I accidentally
Your dog's pooping on your bed. Oh, we got the back end of your dog. Okay.
He's
Sorry,
trying
Benji.
to find a spot to sleep.
Yep.
Because he's like, hey, Pops, let's go to bed.
I'm on pot number 2 now.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay, coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawlspacers, welcome to our message board Q&A. Let's introduce who we have on the panel on this episode. We've got Zach. What's going on, sir?
It's time to answer the message board questions. I'm so
We haven't had one of these in a while. You have a better memory than I do for this.
It's been 3 months, I think.
3 months since we've done message board Q&A. There you go.
So.
Mike, what's going on, Mike?
Ready to answer these as best as I can.
Yep.
If I can.
There you go. We'll make some answer.
Our brains might be mush.
Yeah. George, what's going on, George?
I don't know what's throwing me off tonight, Jomo.
What's that?
The fact that I just watched an octogenarian work his core, or the fact that it's been an all coffee and salad night, which is kind of
Yeah.
If you don't know, the previous 2 episodes have the answers to George's references.
The question is will there be an event later?
We will have to find out if JR can bring it yet again.
I don't know. I don't know if
JR,
I'll
what's up,
last
sir?
an
How
hour.
are you?
Well, out of traction and back in action.
Well, there it is.
But no more funny tonight, guys. That was it.
That
So.
you have spent your JR spent.
A hip replacement was done between episodes.
If you're randomly listening to this episode and you haven't heard any others, JR did a J-Lo inspired Spider-Man push-up or what is it called? Spider-Man push-up?
Spider-Man push-up.
The only
Spider-Man
reason we
push-up.
did this stupid story was because Brad's like, "Oh, look, Spider!" His Google alerts.
Excuse me, I think you were laughing hysterically.
I was.
Not all news has to be serious. Thank you. Okay. All right, let's go to the message board questions. Our first one is from Captain Thwip Thwip. Hey, Crawlspacers, thanks again for the free Thwip. I have enjoyed and been frustrated with Dan Slott's run on ASM over the last decade. It's had its highs and lows. Does anyone on the panel think going down swinging is going to be his greatest achievement on the title, or have we already seen his best? Anyway, thanks again. Keep up the great work. Looking forward to all Sting Spider coming our way. Your pal, Captain Thwip Thwip.
I'll take this. Here's the thing: we haven't seen the last two parts of Go Down Swinging, so it's really hard I think for us to be able to ascertain if this is his finest hour or not. I think based on the data we have collectively, I think I speak for most everybody that his finest hour really was Dying Wish, and then
no, you're not speaking for me.
I was going to say Superior.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Dying Wish going into Superior, that was probably his finest hour. So
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
So yeah.
Anybody else? Does this Slott's best is yet to come, as Sinatra used to say? George, his hand is up.
I don't know if it's the best thing or the best. What was the question again?
Is this the best Slott story which is coming up?
The best Slott story, which is the last
His
story.
his grand
So
story.
is his best? His last? I don't know if it'll be the lesser, but for a lot of us, it'll be the best because it means he's leaving. You know, by default for a meta reason, maybe. But no,
And then all the Iron Man and Fantastic Four fans have to suffer now. So
yeah, that's their headache.
Oh.
I feel sorry for you people.
No,
I really
You know,
do.
we have not discussed that. What Slott is doing Iron Man and FF. What do you guys think of that?
We don't have to discuss it anymore because it won't be our problem.
I think the books will not come out on time.
Mhm.
Dude couldn't do twice
Silver Surfer, yeah.
twice him on Spider-Man and Silver Surfer.
You don't think he has the built-in spider audience that will pay even when they're ticked?
No, what I'm saying is I don't think that he has enough gas in the tank each month to get the stupid stories out because he's arguing with people on Twitter.
No,
he
he has.
That's
he
true.
has-
That's true. We actually got competent storytelling this month because he was.
Yeah, because he was off Twitter, basically. Yeah, so
I
All right.
recant my statement then.
I want to interrupt real quickly here because it's been a running debate. I have the source. Who was Spider-Man's best man? Well, Peter in the annual, Peter visits Flash in the hospital. And since you're going to be released tomorrow, well, I'd like you to be my best man. And Flash said, hey, I heard you and MJ were finally tying the knot. I'd be honored, pal. Truly honored.
Wow.
So that's the answer, folks. Flash was the best man.
So Harry was up
Symbio
there.
Pro, you were right. So
Harry was up there, though. He was a groomsman then.
Harry was there, yeah, but Flash was.
I'll be. That's funny.
Think about how far they came. They went from being bitter enemies to he's the best man in his wedding.
yep.
Again, this is a reference from a previous podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The other question is from Masked Guy from Fresno, California. To everyone, since Storm and Norman Osborn is currently the focus in both of the story arcs occurring in Amazing and Spectacular titles, what are your favorite and least favorite Green Goblin stories? Try not to name 20 of them, JR.
I doubt JR has 20 favorite Goblin stories.
No.
I really don't.
No. Real quick here. Number 1, Peter Parker, number 75, when Norman comes back. That was just, I thought that was great.
I like that one
Slott-
too, JR.
Well,
Yeah, because the clones died. Yeah.
yeah, powdered sugar. Yeah, we get
Flour.
number 2, Spectacular Spider-Man number 2, the original magazine where it's just Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, and number 3, actually I like Citizen Osborn.
No.
Which was Spectacular 250. The worst, I did Gathering of 5 and final chapters pretty well in the Turd Bowl all by itself. But Goblin Nation was a huge disappointment. And Norman was just written completely wrong. I mean, it's like before you knew it was truly Norman, it didn't sound like Norman. So anyway, so that's it.
JR, where do you rank Goblins at the Gate?
I don't know. I mean, I just was trying to limit it to under 20. That was a good one. Death in the Family was a good one. But the top 3 these 3 off the top of my head, they're the ones I keep going back to if I want to read a good Goblin story.
What about Revenge of the Green Goblin, the one with Mackie and Jenkins?
Oh.
You're talking about the continuation of the Stern miniseries?
Yeah, where
it wasn't one of my favorites. It was okay.
Is that the one with the toothpaste?
Yep.
Yeah, and then the psychological torture and stuff. So, I wouldn't say it was a favorite of mine.
What's one that's not well known, JR, that you love?
A Goblin story?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say that. Honestly, I mean, how many people have read the original Spectacular number 2? I mean, that thing's going on 50 years old now. So I got a lot. I passed that mark a few years ago. And to be honest, I mean, Citizen Osborn number 250 isn't mentioned a whole lot. Although one of your columnists made it an overlooked gem or something like that.
Right.
So,
what about the ones that did not have the Comics Code Authority? The one with the
drug issues.
The drug issues, yeah.
I mean, I think they're important because of the subject matter, but it's a pretty standard, Green Goblin. Norman remembers, Norman and Peter fight, then Norman forgets again, So
Okay.
I think that Citizen Osborn story probably would be my favorite, followed by Peter Parker Spider-Man 75. I think you don't have them one without the other, obviously. But getting back to that Spectacular Spider-Man 2, or
The magazine.
Yeah.
Number 2, that was incredibly well immortalized in the Turning Point episode of the 90s animated series.
Yeah.
A lot of that was adapted in that particular episode, and so that's always been one of my that's some of my favorite scenes of that entire show, where Norman is that magnificent bastard where he's like, yes, you have to tell us more about how you get those fantastic photos of Spider-Man.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Frontier to the gang with Dan Slott's run coming to an end. Diversive as it is. What would you say?
Divisive, I think you meant.
Oh, sorry. Divisive. Zach, I think your wire is loose a little bit.
Yeah, Zach, you're getting feedback.
I'm getting a lot of feedback from you.
Mm-hmm.
To the gang with Dan Slott's run coming to an end. Divisive as it is. What would you say were your favorite stories from his run? Not counting something easy like Renew Your Vows, or even using Superior as a blanket answer for the whole slew of stories. Anybody have one that's not those two? I don't.
I couldn't think of one.
Actually, I mean, if you're talking about maybe, I think we mentioned it earlier. I mean, that first part of Dying Wish, essentially mainly because it was just such a, the way the twist involved in that at the end. I mean, I don't think anyone, reading it at the time, I don't think people really saw that coming the way it was structured.
There was one person that saw it coming.
I know there was one person who did see it coming.
Are you talking ASM 600?
No, it was actually ASM 598.
698.
Oh, okay.
698.
I gave 600 an A back, 10 years ago. I liked 600. I did.
Yeah, 600 was all right. Although
Mainly
it did involve
John
a certain
Romita Jr.
character that's yeah,
I don't know that John Romita Jr. I look on it now and it's nowhere near the level of what his artwork was before. And I remember that was such a rush job too. He had to finish that.
There was another part. I think it was 655, and not the issue that came after that because it was part of that No One Dies thing. But but mainly that was partly because of the Marcos Martin art in that.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of it was half it was those silent panels and the way it was, but I think that was pretty well. That was actually pretty decent too.
I liked the Johnny tribute issue. Basically what does Johnny Storm mean to Peter?
Right.
I like that one.
What was your favorite issue where he wrote Mary Jane?
Probably Spider Island.
Spider Island.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah.
Spider Island.
Really? Okay.
Where
she got powers. Okay.
The moment where she kind of looks at Peter and like I now kind of understand what it's like now. It was basically a big giant tease.
Yeah. In hindsight.
But whatever.
George, do you have one besides Superior?
That's what I thought. That's what we thought. Yeah.
Brad Douglas. You trickster.
JR, you got one that we haven't named?
Tried to think of one, but no.
Wait a minute. Here's another one. What about the issue where Carly Cooper finally dumps Peter Parker? And
that was well drawn by Stefano Caselli.
It's got Carly Cooper in it
with a tattoo.
By default, it sucks. Unless if it's a Carly Cooper story where she dies, then okay, yeah, I'll be like, you know what, best story ever made.
Okay, well, there was that one where she did get turned into a goblin, got goblin.
Okay, let's walk those steps back. If Carly Cooper dies, not
okay.
Something else.
All right, it's semantics. Let's move on to the next question.
Golly,
Okay.
Jovial, Jonas, location, Star Labs. Hey, everyone. Hope you're having a good week. On to my question to the gang. What do you think, or who do you think is going to die in Avengers Infinity War? And George, what will your reaction be if it's Uncle Tony Stark? Thanks for the awesomeness each month.
He's already answered the Uncle Tony Stark question.
Yeah, but I mean,
not on this episode.
Not on this episode. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry, unless Zach doesn't want me to answer it, unless I can't talk to the people who are asking me questions now.
The fans have demanded George's.
Yeah, if this gate is suddenly shut to me, the ability to communicate with people who are asking us things.
George, you go first.
No, well, thanks, since it's asking George. But no, yeah, if it's Tony Stark, I'll plots. I really and truly want MCU Tony Stark dead now and out of the. I sincerely do. And when I went to go see Ready Player One today, they ran the Avengers Infinity trailer, and I was like, oh Christ, I'm gonna have to sit through that, that horrible spider costume again. And it reminded me how painful it is. Like in that one scene where you got Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, and then they have a goofy exchange, and I'm like,
you don't like that exchange?
I'm like that.
I laughed.
I know you did. You would laugh if they just made fart noises at each other. JR laughs because it's true and he knows what I'm talking about.
It's two did co-creation.
I know it is, but they're not talking like that. The dialogue is goofy. Oh, what's your name? Oh, what's your name? Oh, well, since we're using code names. No, that's my real name. No, go straight to hell. All right, anyway.
When did Spider-Man get on Hee-Haw? What was that?
As soon as he started showing up in the damn MCU.
Okay,
here Spider-Man just popped out of the cornfield. I mean,
so while I'm watching this and I'm thinking, my God, if they just kill off Tony Stark, if Tony Stark can be dead so that he cannot be in Homecoming 2 or Spider-Man 2 or whatever the F they're going to name it. Although here's the thing, I don't want him to be killed, and then for Spider-Man to go through all of Homecoming 2 going, oh my God, I have to live up to this guy that's dead. God, no.
Yeah,
I really want to take you aside and slap you, kid.
Tony will be the replacement Uncle Ben then.
So
yeah.
I remember, as an aside, I remember that Michael Bailey used to refer to JR as Walter from Jeff Dunham. I think that title has officially been passed to Berryman.
Yeah. The other thing is, I don't. Well, to go to the question, I think I don't think Tony or Cap or whoever is going to die in Avengers: Infinity War. If anything, either one of those major ones will be in the fourth one. Vision's definitely going to bite it. That's totally coming.
I also think
I think either Gamora or Nebula will also be killed too.
No.
I think Hawkeye's dead.
I
think Hawkeye dies early in the film, and that's why we haven't seen Jeremy Renner in.
Oh, that's
all right.
Yeah.
666.5 from Southern California. Hey, everyone. We've all had the debates about where each of Spider-Man's villains rank, but in a more broad sense, what do you think each marks the difference between a C, B, and an A-list villain? Is it their stories, their design, their potential, and where do your personal favorite villains fall? Thank you. What makes an A, B, and a C villain, JR?
Well, we've talked about this a lot of times. I don't know that I'm the best person to answer it, but an A villain. The A villains are Norman, Doc Ock, and Venom. And again, it's like there's something personal involved with Norman and Peter. It's very personal. Doc Ock, they're both of them are kind of variations of the man Peter could have been, and Venom is, like I say, Venom is just the master of disaster. You can't stop him. He just keeps coming when he's written right. I always, so that is just really quick and inadequate. B villains, I figure, are the rest of the Ditko lineup, and then the C villains are like the various straw men that just show up to get beaten. So Boomerang, for example, but it would be a C villain, but like Mysterio, Electro. Those guys are B villains.
Their alter egos generally don't impact Peter's life personally.
Mm-hmm. There's another scale here too to consider. If they're clone related, that by definition is a C villain. Clones themselves are C-list creations, actually D or E maybe. If they are related to the Ultimate Universe, I would say that that's a C-list. If their names begin with an M and start with an N and actually sound like Morlin, they're going to be a C-lister.
Wow. I would also add like one of those, below the C list would be something like, say, like Freak or something like that.
I think the brand
C-list are characters, I think, which probably people think are kind of ridiculous, but have a certain sense of charm, like the Spot, for instance.
He's a C. I'd say he's a C.
I even put something, or like even something like, maybe I put the Hypno Hustler in that category, even though he has as a C villain. I mean, yeah, he's stupid, but at the same time, he's fun. It's kind of a fun.
Now, where would we put Stegron?
A. Anything that's
G.
Now that we're done listening to the ignorant, anytime you have anything that's like part dinosaur, that's always A. That's always going to be an A list.
A for ass.
Dinosaur is definitely A list.
Swarm.
No, Swarm. I would make Swarm's a B. Come on. He's the aggregate man, dude.
What great Swarm stories have ever been told?
Oh, I'm sorry. The first Spider-Man story he was in, Brad Douglas, the first Friday Night Fight we ever did, was that not epic? The Nazi scientist covered in bees, dude. How was that anything below a B?
One
B. Get it? Anything below a B?
Oh, a B. I get it.
How did you miss that, Douglas?
The pun man should have got it.
Okay, here's the real kicker here. Okay, what about Judas Traveler?
He's a Z. He's okay.
He's not even a clone guy. Even the clone guy doesn't
on the list. He is a Z-list villain.
Matt Bird.
When I am saying that as the clone fan, it's bad.
Matt Bird wants to know where the Grizzly ranks.
Which one? There was more than one.
I agree.
Okay, I never gave mine. Everybody else got to give theirs. I would. Shut up, George. I would list.
Strap in for an 8th grader's take.
Oh, come on now.
I would give Norman, Harry, Roddy, and Venom, McFarlane, Venom, those guys, and Doc Ock, the A list.
Ooh.
Oh,
Go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
B list for me would be Shocker and Electro and Sandman. C list would be the guys like Boomerang and Tombstone probably would be a C list, even though I enjoy Tombstone.
Tombstone's higher than that, I think. But Hornacek has a good question. Is the burglar A? I think without the burglar, you don't have Spider-Man, so I think he's an A.
That doesn't make him an A. No.
Stop.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, I disagree.
He's not.
An A-list villain is one that impacts the hero the most.
No, but
Yeah, but it's also got to be recurring too.
Brad.
Yeah.
He's constantly reminded of the burglar's failure.
No, you're
Brad.
Man, I've lost you all on that.
Now wait a minute though, but that's
Mike, are you coming to my side?
but that actually brings me to a very interesting point is that you could argue that Kraven the Hunter in his last story kind of did that. So did he because for a while he was kind of a B, but did he become an A from that story? So he's kind of on the
Not from one story, no.
not from one story. Okay.
But it elevated him probably from a C to a B.
I don't think it elevated. I think it was always just a B.
Yeah.
But I'll also say, here's the thing about the burglar. The burglar is a force of nature more so than an actual villain.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a physical threat to Spider-Man. It's an emotional threat to Spider-Man.
It's a plot point.
It really is a
plot
plot
point.
point.
Oh,
It's not
It's a plot point.
It's not a character.
Yeah.
I disagree. Okay, let's see. That
You're an
Cody
army of
Wright.
Cody. Hang on. Wait a minute. Say his name again.
That Cody Wright.
Cody. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Never mind.
Hey, fellas, I always loved listening to the podcast and look forward to each and every new episode. And it's honestly gotten to the point where I can't envision a life without y'all's quips, or should I say thwips, over Spider-Man. As a precaution, do you have any backup plans for when a panelist leaves or takes the final bow? Hopefully not JR or George.
Everybody else is basically what he's saying.
Everybody else can go straight to hell.
Yeah, pretty much.
Here, we'll answer that question before we get to his other ones. Do I have plans for when people die? No, I haven't gotten there yet.
I haven't written my will yet.
That's not what he said. He said for when the panelist leaves. Oh no, he did say.
He said die, man. I don't.
Dark. That's dark.
Yeah.
It's very
Wow,
dark.
Yeah.
This
That's
escalated quickly.
That did
Yeah,
escalate.
especially since it was from the last episode.
Yeah,
we did,
well,
which was talking about-
for the first time in 10 plus years, I thought I was going to witness a death in a recording with JR doing a spider sit-up or whatever it was.
It was a push-up,
Oh.
Brad. It was a push-up, for God's sake.
I saw the Grim Reaper back in the corner on JR's freaking punch.
He freaking punched, smoking a cigarette.
I think JR is irreplaceable. You can never have a Spider Yoda like JR if he does decide to go to the great beyond.
Well, look,
No.
I think this show in its 10-year history has proven that it is adaptable and malleable. It doesn't matter if JR or George, or as long as Brad is willing to do it.
Mhm.
And there are willing participants that are willing to bring and contribute to it. The show.
You make it sound like an orgy.
George, he was being really nice to me, and you just took a big fart.
And at least there wasn't a popcorn fart.
No, God, not that word again. That's not my kryptonite. Well, thank you, Zach. And
I mean, really, because seriously, we've had, I think, 11 or 12 different panelists over the years, and that have come and gone for various reasons. And hell, I mean, George and I both have left and came back.
I'm the only one that stuck around. Me and JR.
JR,
Yeah.
Brad have actually appeared on the most episodes concurrently.
Yeah.
Brad.
Now there is no show without Brad. The rest of us
Yeah.
are, well, but Brad is not.
Well, we've already established that we're going to replace JR with Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've already established that. It's common knowledge, and it's clear is that there is no replacement for me. There's absolutely no replacement for me. Ever.
No, you are truly one of.
I have a couple of ideas who Brad would fill the space in, but I mean, no one can obviously replace me. I'm just that good.
Josh Nelson says JR will probably only last to the end of the week, so you better get started, Brad. All right. Your other question, which you're only supposed to have one, but you snuck a second one in there, but I'll read it anyway. Does anyone remember their first Spider-Man related memorabilia? Thanks again for the laughs and keep going strong. P.S. Bonus points for Brad if you can say my last name right, which is right. Hey, I got it.
What'd you say?
Right.
No. If you can say it's a hyphenated last name. What is it, Brad?
Oh, it's Cody Wright.
No.
What is it?
It's right there in the post.
Oh,
Thanks, Cody.
Cody Schuler Wright. Is that right?
Skyler.
Skyler. So, nope, no extra points for me.
Cody Skyler Wright.
I messed it up. Okay, first Spider-Man memorabilia.
Where does Wonder Woman live?
Up your. Yeah, okay. George, what's your first Spider-Man? Oh, Zach is getting his first Spider-Man memorabilia.
What's my? Zach's got to put like some flippers on or something.
What's your first memorabilia, George? What do you remember?
The first, the toys count?
Yes, that's memorabilia.
Well, that's the thing, though. I mean, like, do toys count if you're a child and you're actively playing the shit out of the toy? Or is this like a suit, like something that you put on a shelf and you're like, no, we must have never touched that, and the light of the sun can never see it.
I'm gonna go get a prop.
No, the first Spider-Man toy I ever had was a Mego Spider-Man, and also on the same day I got that, and I made this a Jeopardy question one year. I got this thing that came with like webbing in a tube. And it had like a little yellow plastic Spider-Man and a little yellow plastic Goblin and Mary Jane and I think an Aunt May, and you could use the tube to make your own webbing, you know. And I used to like on my grandparents' fence all the damn time, like their chain link fence, and then you could stick the figures on there. And I actually I forget, I think it was year before last. This was a Jeopardy question.
Yeah. And Brad is walking out because he's got to get his memorabilia.
Yeah, Brad's done.
Yeah. He's like, he's looking. Can he find it? Oh, okay.
All right.
This is not quite my first.
Okay. Is Zach pulling up his first?
But I have the Amazon listing for it. I have it in a box. It's just not. I don't have it readily available. But this is one of my first. This is my
No, it's 90s Spidey.
90s Spidey, and he
Here's your favorite wall crawler.
he talks.
Oh,
And so I got this from my great grandmother. It was one of the few things that I was
that's
able
cool.
to remember that I got from my great grandmother. But my very first one was the Spidey animated series where he has both his hands like this.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I've got that figure.
And that was my very first action figure.
That's cool. Oh, go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
To bring up current modern action figures, I don't know if you can see this. This is my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here, let me pull it back a little bit.
Yeah, let me let you pull it up full screen.
I got you on full screen. Go ahead.
All right, so there's my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, she's holding a Spider-Man figure.
And that is what I gave her last time she was in town.
Oh,
She wanted a Spider-Man figure.
that's sweet.
So I gave her one of my old ones. So
That's awesome.
I gave her two of them, but one of them somehow flew out the window. So we won't.
That Spider-Man just dented a windshield probably if it threw out the one.
Yeah.
Mike, do you remember your first figure?
Like George, I had some old Mego Spider. I had a Mego Spider-Man doll, along with an Incredible Hulk one, and also some. I also had, interesting enough, I also had some Batman, Batman, Superman thing and stuff like that, Wonder Woman and everything. So that was probably in terms of toy things. What about? I mean, if we're talking about memorabilia, I don't know how widespread we're going to talk about memorabilia. What if it's something that was homemade?
Sure.
Okay. When I was about maybe 5 years old, my mom actually made me a homemade Spider-Man costume for Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. It had to hold the eye holes and everything and all that stuff.
It probably looked better than the plastic bag that you used to have.
Oh, yeah. This was, but the thing is about the thing, but the problem with it, it was basically cotton. And living in Southern California, wearing a cotton mask over top, it was like, yeah, you just sweat like hog in that
Did
thing.
she do
but-
all the web designs on the front?
Yeah, she did the whole
wow.
thing. She actually with the felt tip marker pen and did the
Oh.
whole.
Do you have a picture of that?
I don't. I wish I
that'd be
did. I should
awesome.
actually have to. I should have to try to dig it out somewhere.
That'd be
see if
so
I-
cool.
Yeah, but
Did-
yeah.
Did JR answer while I was gone?
No, he hasn't.
Oh, okay.
Hasn't.
Then because I think JR may have the most interesting Spider
Mhm.
memorabilia, if I recall correctly.
Okay, let's go to JR. What do you got?
I don't know that I have the most interesting, to be honest. I mean, the first Spider-Man, I was racking my brain. I was going to go. I think I still have it, but it was a plastic mold. Well, not a mold, but just a plastic of Spider-Man. He was completely blue. I got it at like the 5 and dime store. It was the first thing I'd ever saw. He's got his arms up and he's got web pits.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see his eyes through his mask, but it was just a solid blue figure of plastic. And then there was the I think maybe the Spider-Man color form set.
Oh yeah.
Those are the oldest things that I remember.
Okay, those were different than the oldest. Okay, now I understand. Because I was thinking of when you told us like it was like your 7th or 8th colonoscopy. How you had them brand your lower intestine on the inside with like the Spidey mask, the Spidey.
No, that was my butt cheek.
My bad. My bad.
Okay, yeah. I got Spidey,
which is a bit firmer since that last exercise.
I got Spidey on one butt cheek and the Goblin on the other. Here, I'll show you.
No.
George, what's your first Spider-Man collectible?
I answered it while you were gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My first, I'm going to do visuals. This is the one that I played with the most. The Mego Spidey.
That was what I
Every time I see the Mego Spidey, though, I think of Twisted Toy Fair Theater.
Exactly. The rubber bands in this thing were so flimsy that it just fell apart so easily. This I remember, and I've been buying my childhood again. I bought this last summer. Remember these? Remember Underoos?
Oh yeah.
This is the original Underoos from the 70s.
Only-
JR, did you ever wear these?
No.
They were 57 years old when the Underoos came out, Brad.
only
I don't
Brad.
think they had the adult
Doesn't
size version.
doesn't this look like Zach as a child? Like, look at that.
Oh Christ! Oh,
You know what?
Okay.
No,
That's not. No, okay.
No, yeah.
So along with those two items, that was more 70s play.
that looks like Zach now.
So I still have these. This is what I played with in the 80s a lot.
Oh, the Secret
Secret Wars Spideys.
Yeah,
I
had
the red suit.
I had just the black suit one though, which was
And
I
these
didn't have the,
dumb shields that came with it.
Yeah,
those were
shields
so dumb.
Those shields were stupid.
they were well because they had to have like we can see stuff.
Here,
in
let's
it.
What sucked about that was that Captain America didn't come with a shield, except
know.
for the stupid one. But Wolverine came with claws, by God.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay,
And
first
they
of
had to
all,
have that shield, yeah.
And there was a Daredevil figure for reasons, even though his red ass wasn't even in there.
And Falcon and Baron Zemo.
And
Man.
Hobgoblin they did one too of that.
I could never find the Hobgoblin. I looked for that one.
I couldn't
ever.
either.
I had a
I
Hobgoblin.
mean,
by
You
the
did?
way,
Yeah.
By the way,
Yeah, Zach.
JR looks hysterical having to use a flashlight.
Look at JR back in the spider cave. What is he looking for? They're like X-Filesing it.
I hear the X-Files theme going on.
Da, da, da. All right, hang on.
YouTubers, what is JR doing in this video?
The
By the
truth
way,
is out there.
If you listen to this audio version, JR has left his computer. He is in the back of his basement with a flashlight looking for something. YouTubers, what is he looking for?
You're welcome.
Okay, he's getting ready to put his headset on. What in the world were you looking for?
Actually, I was trying to find that figure that I was talking about.
Oh, you still have it?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh, we were referring to
We were thinking you were X-Filesing it. You look like Mulder back there with a flashlight
No,
looking for a clue.
I got all kinds of. I got 4 cabinets full of various memorabilia. One's all Star Trek, one's baseball cards, one's all Spider-Man and the Green Goblin, and the other's just miscellaneous.
Werewolf said JR has Jonah tied up back there.
when JR
says that weird.
When JR says baseball cards, he means hard narcotics.
That's funny. Okay, that was a good question. I like that one. That was really good.
Hornacek said that the Underoos looked more like Ashley than Zach. Probably because
that's funny.
Far more hair than
I was just going with the blonde hair.
That's how Zach goes to bed every night in a onesie.
Alistair,
well, that was an interesting thing that came in on.
Alistair, according to this image, and he gave us a link to the image, which is from, I think, the White Tiger miniseries. White Tiger number 3. Peter Parker hates Star Wars. Now, assuming this is a genuine and not a quip, he is being fired by lasers after all. Why would he hate Star Wars? For reference, this comic was published in 2013, a full 2 years before The Force Awakens was released in theaters. In case the above image has already been answered, which B&D brain test writer would you have picked to get the solo job on Amazing, knowing the depths to which Dan Slott would plunge? George is exempt. So I remember in like a Marvel team up or something, he took Mary Jane to Star Wars. Bless you.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say that there are 2 kinds of fans. There are Star Wars fans and there are Star Trek fans. And there are a certain type of.
Sorry.
What? You kind of cut out there for a second.
Zach, mute your mic.
But I was just going to say that Spider-Man.
I'm losing Mike. I'm losing.
Okay, well, I was going to say that Spider-Man, since he's kind of one of those science. Oh, are you losing my voice?
You're back. Your internet's bugging out.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. There's
I know it just
fans,
bugged out real quick.
Star Trek fans and Star Wars.
Okay, so I was going to say, no, there are Star Trek fans and then there's Star Wars fans. And Star Trek fans, I'm sure JR can attest to this, tend to be a little bit more science oriented than the Star Wars fans are.
Mm-hmm.
There's no science in it.
Because there's a lot of guys. There's a lot of scientists who kind of like. No, Star Science and Star Trek.
Yeah, I said. Never mind.
Yeah,
never mind.
We're losing Mike left and right.
Yeah,
let's move on. We can barely understand Mike.
Oh,
he's really getting bad.
But before we go on, I want to congratulate Vinkman.
Yeah.
Vinkman says, JR, that's the Marx, M-A-R-X Spider-Man figure. And so I went and Googled it, and certainly it is true. So if you actually Google that, there's and it'll bring up the images, and I didn't realize there were all kinds of colors, but I had the blue one.
Dude, Vinkman has brought up really cool stuff in chat before.
Mm-hmm.
That's late 60s memorabilia, if I remember correctly, isn't it?
It's like I said, it was the 5 and dime store in Petersburg, Indiana. That's the only time I ever saw one.
Yeah.
But I've still got it somewhere. I'll have to look for it sometime. But that's cool. What it is. Vinkman, thank you very much.
Yeah, Vinkman, that's very good.
By the way, those that are watching this after the fact, after we do the live stream now, all of the YouTube chats are now available to see. Usually they were deleted after the show was posted.
I like that.
So now they're all available to see.
So why would Spider-Man hate Star Wars? I guess I don't think we answered that.
Well,
he wasn't. That's just the writer.
Yeah, just having fun.
He was just making.
Do you, JR, remember him taking Mary Jane to see Star Wars? I remember that like on a marquee.
I don't remember it. I know he and Flash and Harry all went to see the first Star Trek movie.
Oh, maybe that's it.
I think Spider-Man just he just was mouthing off. I mean, he's always running his mouth, and maybe that's something that occurred to him to say that he hated Star Wars. But it's funny. I used to think, being a Star Trek fan, I used to always say, well, Star Trek was more science oriented and Star Wars was more fantasy. I believed that for a while, but then I realized that when you think about it, the transporter's up there with magic, like Harry Potter. I mean, it's.
Well, JR, they're at a point in technology now where they can actually teleport light rays.
Yeah, but as far as human beings, though, it's not going to happen
tomorrow. I'm just saying that that is stuff that's being researched.
I never heard of that.
They
That's
are
cool.
they are at a certain level with it. Yeah.
Well, a lot of the Star Trek tech has come to pass. The iPhone, the
Yeah.
tablet.
Yeah, I know. It just
The hypo spray.
I think the way people when people say that people Star Trek fans who like to look down on Star Wars, and that's the argument they use. Well, Star Trek is more science oriented and Star Wars is more fantasy, and I used to buy, but I don't subscribe to that anymore because I just thought it was Star Trek. I just think it's Star Trek fans being condescending.
Hey, JR, because we've mentioned this before, the fact that Mike and I, we play D&D together, and I play a lot of D&D. There's a Star Trek Adventures role-playing game that just came out at the end of last year. And I have the rule book, and I actually found a group that needed a player, and I joined them this week, and I'm playing my first game Tuesday, and I'm the science officer. So I'm looking forward to just making crap up and making it sound kind of good, like ionization, EPS conduit, whatever the hell I can pull out of my ass.
I've got a couple of those old games from the 80s, those old role-playing games.
Yeah,
that's funny. Okay, let's see. We've got Big Al. George, time to get your Friday Night Fights hat on. If there was a battle royale between the 1970s Nicholas Hammond TV show Spidey, the Raimi trilogy Spidey, the web movies Spidey, and the MCU Spidey, how would things play out? Now, for the sake of fairness, let's say each Spider-Man only has their natural powers plus web shooters, so no symbiotes or Stark suits.
Oh,
that's a good one.
I was about to say, immediately scratch the MCU Spider-Man off the list. He was defeated by a Stark parachute. Again, because we answered something similar to this, I think like last year, where it was like, where do you rank the movie Spider-Man in a Friday night fight? And I said, I look at the ones that have fought like the widest variety of villains. And also in which case, like they're also their own damn man. In that case, the edge absolutely goes to the Tobey Maguire Raimi Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire had to have help from New Goblin to fight Sandman and Venom.
Tobey Maguire also had to fight New Goblin, Brad. So I don't know that it really counts.
He had to have help. Well, Webb Spidey had to have help from Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
To get Electro, too.
Oh, no, it's Electro.
Yeah. Which would be pertinent if he said, hey, Brad, let's talk about Friday Night Fights. But since he's like, hey, George,
we can open it up.
You're the fight doctor.
We can open it up. I mean,
no, we should totally get inexperienced amateur.
Oh, whatever.
I would actually agree with you, George, that Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the better fighter.
And stop fighting me.
I'm not. I'm just thinking out loud. JR, who's a better Spider? Who wins in a fight of all those Spider-Men?
I never really thought about it.
JR doesn't give a damn.
I don't know.
Now he's back to being Walter.
It's almost 2:30 in the morning. I mean,
all right, all right, Mike.
If you can hear me, I think maybe. Well, I know probably Nicholas Hammond would lose because he would lose his spider, as web shooters, like he did in all the movies. I remember that he always liked to lose them all the time. Like they always broke. And like, and so the rest of the time is like only down to like one. But
what if you put the electric company Spider-Man in that fight?
Well, they wouldn't probably understand what he was saying. They would just be like, he would probably, maybe if he was like dead, he'd probably try to use his word balloons as weapons.
That's funny. Zach, who wins?
Stop the presses. But I agree with George.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire all around. There you go.
Yeah.
T-Gone 5679. Hey guys, JR with the whole Harvey Weinstein scandal. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Way to start it off strong there.
This ought to be a hot
Oh my gosh. Harvey Weinstein question off the top. With the whole Harvey Weinstein scandal this past fall and seeing various articles, magazines, and newspapers with the Weinsteins exposed title, it made me think of Norman being exposed as the Goblin in the first Pulse arc. And could that storyline have been something more than what it was, or would that have been a better resolve during the post-Clone Saga issues before the 99 relaunch and sparing us the gathering of the Five in the final chapter? Plus, the ending of the Pulse story never felt like it synced up with the opening to Marvel Knights Spider-Man. Also, JR, I hope you keep the site up since it never gets old going back and reading your articles. If it wasn't for your alternate Spidey series back in 2000, I would have never known about What If 46 since I was always, I've got the hiccups now. I was always fascinated, more so in high school, with Norman being outed and jailed, and looking for that issue led me to discover eBay. But JR, you made the kid find eBay.
I'm sorry that I've ruined your economic future. Holy cow. eBay's treacherous. I mean, I've seen people go completely bonkers. So I apologize for doing that to you. The original question, for one, I never liked that Pulse story. I remember writing an article trying to justify it, but ultimately I never liked Norman being outed. I always liked it that he was able to function and walk among, everybody and only Peter knowing the truth about him. I never liked that. I never thought of Norman as a Weinstein type character, but I hate to bring up President Trump because that just almost like a volatile thing, but Trump supporters don't care about what he's done. And I was just thinking of Norman back in the Dark Reign days, that it was like they didn't care. People didn't care he was the Green Goblin. They just knew that he shot the Skrull Queen and he was, he was keeping them safe. And that's all. They didn't care that he was. And so I see that analogy, right? In fact, Norman would be more relevant now as that type of character than he would be being Red Goblin, but I never liked the fact that Norman was outed. I never did.
All right. Still keeping your website up, JR?
Yeah, it's still up. I'm still paying for it. I haven't decided to pack it in yet, but I just don't know what I'm going to do.
I've given you this offer before. You can bring it over to me if you don't want to keep paying for it.
I appreciate that.
Spider Sensei. Hey, Spider Gang. There have been several men that have voiced Spider-Man throughout the years in various cartoons and video games. Which voice actor to you is the definitive Spider-Man, and which one deserves to rot in Mephisto's realm forever? Thanks, and have a good day. Twit twit. I've got... go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Josh Keaton comes to mind. Neil Patrick Harris actually did a pretty good, decent voice of Spider-Man, even though he was in an awful cartoon.
He did. Yeah. He did a really good voice of Spidey.
Yeah, I like Neil Patrick.
He was better. Yeah. I mean, I liked him in the video game, the Shattered Dimensions game.
He's just a fantastic actor overall.
Yeah,
he has an immense range and an immense capability and things that he can do. He can dance, sing. He's funny. He's dramatic. He really is. I mean, like if you can get him for something, he's pretty much a steal, probably. Very, very talented guy. Really, very, very talented.
My three are Josh Keaton, like you said, Dan Gilvizian from Amazing Friends, and Paul Soles from the '60s.
Yeah,
I mean those. I think of those three voices in my head of Spider-Man.
Just because of the time frame when you and I were alive, Jomo, at the same time. Back when we were born, and the way our lives have gone. A lot of times, I mean, for the longest time, for like decades, every time I read Spidey, I heard Gilvizian or
Dan Gilvizian.
Yeah, Dan Gilvizian.
I agree.
For me, it's Christopher Daniel Barnes and Keaton. Those are the two that stick out in my head.
Who's in your head, JR?
Oh God, that's terrifying.
I did, the first one I thought of was Neil Patrick Harris. I like Parker and Spider-Man.
Yeah. I like Neil Patrick Harris. He did a good job.
By the way, Paul Soles, what a great interview that was. I don't know if you guys have watched that, but he was so nice.
I did watch that.
That was really fun.
I had the pleasure of getting to talk to Paul to help while helping Brad with set up with some technical stuff.
That was fun.
He's an incredible guy, very nice, and the interview went almost flawlessly. So that was my biggest concern.
Yeah,
for Brad. But we went famously. It's a great way to celebrate 500 episodes. By the way, nobody has said this, but congratulations on getting to 500.
Oh, well, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you to everybody that's been on this show. I mean,
as somebody that's been here on since the beginning, that is a watermark achievement for this show.
Yeah, that was fun. And here's to 500 more. What do you think? Let's see. Venkman, who I think is in chat right now still. So
I think he is.
Venkman location, the Kenner Real Ghostbusters Firehouse playset. I like that.
Woohoo!
Ooh, to Zach, what would you say are your top 5 Spider-Man collected editions? These are not Clone Saga or Spider-Girl related, since those would be the obvious answers from you.
Yes, of course. I'm going to go in order, and I went on my book. I ran to my bookshelf and I pulled them off my bookshelf. Number 5, Brad will appreciate this. The Todd McFarlane Visionaries book. This one's out of print. I think it was replaced with Legends.
Yeah.
There's a big omnibus coming, or it has been out.
Yep. Next up, JR will appreciate this one. The Visionaries John Romita Sr.
That's a good looking cover.
Yeah, great cover. Love this cover.
I love my covers.
With
What's on the back?
It's just a classic.
Oh, just a Spidey 69.
Yep.
Well, that sounds bad. That's from Spider-Man.
Ironically enough, if you look at the back of my wall,
Yeah.
Crisis on
Oh,
Campus
I'm sorry. It's Spidey 68.
68.
Yep.
68.
You need to make up your bed.
You've got dogs and books on it.
All right. So the next up,
Yeah.
this one I know is out of print, but I know a new collected edition was released. Is Spider-Man Cosmic Adventures?
I've got that. Oh, man, your spine is coming apart, but I've got that.
Yeah, my spine's bad. So I love this. I love this thing. I got it.
That was fun.
Speaking of Benji,
Oh, your dog ate it?
when
Your
my
dog-
first got it, he chewed on the stupid.
Oh.
Oh.
I was not happy. He got beat.
Send that to CGC.
Whoa! Did you say he got beaten?
Oh, PETA's going to not like this.
And yeah, here comes
Holy
animal
crap.
control coming in.
Don't beat your dog.
He got
Good Lord.
Oh my God! You're legitimately a terrible person.
No, hey,
He was being sarcastic.
golly.
Go ahead. What?
Number
Hobgoblin lives.
2, Hobgoblin Lives. Love this one. Great story, and it also includes that very underrated Goblins at the Gate by Greenberg and Stern. But number 1, and if you are not a Mary Jane Watson fan, or you are a Mary Jane Watson fan, I'm almost embarrassed to say this. I literally gave this next one to my wife and said, if you want to understand Spider-Man, this is the book to read. It's Why did it have to be you, Mary Jane?
Yeah.
Or Face It, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot.
Yeah, that's good.
And
So she gave it back to you, though, right?
I got it in the divorce.
As JR says,
And ironically enough, I know she didn't finish it.
Oh.
Her bookmark is still in here.
Oh, wow.
How far did she get into it?
She got over halfway.
What made her stop? What story made her stop?
She was reading. This is hysterical.
The wedding issue?
No, it was past the wedding. It was right before the engagement.
Oh, that Spider Slayer story.
Yeah, the Spider Slayer.
Yeah, I didn't like that Spider Slayer story. I didn't like the villain, but I did like the Mary Jane backstory stuff.
oh, the annual.
No, the Alistair Smythe's son.
When they went to
when he was still that
Went to
fat.
Pittsburgh and Mary Jane's family's there.
I thought that was the annual.
Yeah,
No.
one of them was the annual where he was where that's when where Miss Spencer Smythe with
With
Alex.
MJ on the cover in the suit.
Yeah. And then Alistair mistakes MJ for Spider-Man.
Hang on.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm flipping back to see which one it is. It is ASM 292.
Right.
Poor JR's just like, just get to sleep. Let's just get through this, or I can,
All right.
I can hibernate.
He has another one for Ashley, but she couldn't be with us. Maybe Vinkman asks that one next month.
Yep.
DXD. Hi guys. Is there any one else besides me disgusted at how badly the Hobgoblin is portrayed in the current books? He was the predominant Spider-Man villain of the 1980s, but he's been since reduced to being an easily beaten throwaway joke of a villain. I think he's referencing the
Spider-Man recently. I think
the Miles
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
apparently gets punked by Sandman and knocked off a helicarrier, and we don't. And so, some people. So just retroactively think of him as like I don't know.
That was not cool what Bendis did to the Hobgoblin.
I don't know.
That's okay. A better writer will come along and fix it later.
I really didn't beat my dog. Oh my god.
Mr. Metz says, how much does value factor into your grades? So do you think in terms of whether an issue is worth $4 or should price not matter because it's on digital unlimited soon enough anyway?
Oh,
that's a good question.
That's a very good. For $4, I think we need more than what we get often.
We have mentioned before that X book was not worth the price.
Yeah, right.
Especially when it was written by a guy named Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah.
I picked up so many single.
Often with Spider History, JR talks about, I'm not offended since I only paid 60 cents.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's the content versus cost, kind of a ratio there. Like, I mean, if it depends on how much you're getting, like when we say you get your money's worth thing. When you think of other things that are like other forms of entertainment that are probably priced around that kind of price range, I mean, yeah. So you're
what? Give me an example of something worth that's on sale for $4.
Like if you go to the bargain bin in the Walmart, basically start digging out DVDs.
Yeah, and
at least you're getting more than 2 hours. Yeah, at least you're getting more than 2 hours worth.
The problem it was with most modern comics, because I was literally having this discussion for a upcoming episode of over on Spidey Dude Radio Network. One of our shows, and it's a 90s comic, obviously, and it took the reviewer several hours to it was several 90s comics, and it took us several hours to sit down and really read and digest because of the amount of content.
My God, all that time wasted.
It was A-Next. We were covering A-Next, so it was good stuff there.
Oh, the MC2 Avengers.
I liked it.
Falco.
I liked it.
I did too.
It was a fun little jaunt.
For $4. Oh, sorry, George.
I will say this: the $10 issue damn sure wasn't worth $10, and that's one of the reasons I am not buying 800. That has got to be a trend that must stop, or we're just going to keep getting kicked in the jimmy. So if you don't like $10 issues and you buy the $10 800, you were part of the problem.
JR, how does cost factor in for you?
Well, I think you pretty well summed it up. I mean, back when the old days when you weren't losing a whole lot, you could read it and it wasn't that good, but it didn't bother you. But now it's like I get personally offended. It's like I paid, and like when you look at a miniseries that's crap, for example, 4 or 5 issues, and you realize you spent $20 to $25 on one overlong crap story. The wrestling story, the wrestling miniseries. I forget
with
what
great power.
Or I thought you were learning to crawl.
That was a bad.
Oh
one
my gosh,
too.
that one with the other one was the
Amazing Grace.
Amazing Grace. Oh my gosh,
awful.
That thing was one of the worst things I ever read.
Prison Mass.
Boy, Brad can probably go through his long boxes for the next 7 to 8 hours and calculate how much money he's just pissed away on horrible limited series.
I stopped
Venom, like all those Venom stuff.
that latest Venomized. I stopped.
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, I know.
You've done messed up when you've lost Brad Douglas.
I can't. I didn't buy that, and I didn't buy.
He will literally buy anything. So if you've lost Brad Douglas, there's nothing.
I also
your covers aren't any good anymore. Even
I even didn't buy this Spider-Man teams up in Wakanda miniseries. I couldn't do it.
Well, really? There was even when did that come out?
This is the guy.
Yeah.
And Brad and I were having a little bit of this discussion the other day. This is the guy that sits there and says, I can't do Marvel Legends. Well, if he bought like 3 less miniseries a month, he could afford a Marvel Legends.
I guess. Wolf Cipher, location, taking selfies. That's selfies of shelfies. Oh, taking shelfies. That's selfies of shelves.
What?
Oh, got it. His location. I'll do it one more time.
He's
He's taking shelfies. That's selfies of shelves. Okay, got it.
You haven't been using that basic reading book I gave you for Christmas.
Yes, I'm up to the letter F, and tomorrow it's
you can afford comics. You can afford comics, but you can't afford Hooked on Phonics.
Oh my gosh. Hey Brad, what attracted you to the Hulk and why are you a Hulk fan? One word, Bill Bixby, or 2 words, Bill Bixby. I failed.
They need to get their arithmetic in there now, Brad.
The Bill Bixby TV show from the 70s. Loved that. I remember as a kid, you could come in at the half-hour mark and at the last 50 minutes of the show and just see the best of the Hulk. And when I saw like the Hulk and Spidey together, and I've always held a love of those 2 characters together, which is why I hope at the end of this month I go to the movie theater and I see Spider-Man interacting with the Hulk in the Avengers movie. Please give me a scene, which I'm fearful for that it won't happen because it looks like Hulk is down in Wakanda and Spider-Man is in New York with Stark and Strange. So I don't know if they're going to be in the same vicinity. But if you look at the new Avengers movie poster, they're together. So I'm like, anyway. The Bill Bixby show, I love the idea of the anger and Bruce Banner fighting it and stuff like that. So that's why I love the Hulk. Last question from Cheese Dick. North Hollywood, California, to Brad and Zach and Mike. You're the new writer on Amazing Spider-Man, and editorial tells you that you have to cut the characters down to one alternate Spider-Man character. Besides Peter Parker, who will still also be in the suit and only one symbiote-based character going forward? And all the rest go away for good. Who do you pick to stick around?
Why does there have to even be one symbiote character?
Oh,
I knew that was going to come out of his mouth.
All right.
the symbiote character is easy for me.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike. You answer first.
I just stick with Venom. Because why because everyone else like Carnage and stuff, I'm like, just stick with just Venom and that's it. The Spider character besides Peter Parker, that's a little bit more of a tough one.
Especially, and let me, and I had to clarify, and I want to clarify for the audience.
But he's telling his stuff. Don't interrupt him. Let him
No,
go.
I know what Zach's getting at because as you're talking about like someone with spider powers, I assume like somebody like maybe like a Miles Morales or Spider Gwen or something, or
They can't be supporting characters,
and they can't be supporting characters. That's to me. Whereas that's kind of the tough part. I don't know. It's got to be because I can kind of think the reason why. Well, Spider-Gwen, I know she's got her fan base and everything, but since she's an alternate universe thing, that's kind of easy to kind of just throw it by the wayside. You probably could do Miles Morales still. I might as well because he's got. After all, he's got. He's still got his fan base. Although there's still some issues about whether or not he's even still going to be called Spider-Man after Bendis
Spidey.
left. Yeah, Spidey. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, but then would Spider-Woman even count? Because she's really not. Has any connection.
Spider-Woman absolutely does not count.
I count now. Yeah. So would that qualify as this? Because even though but
so you have Venom, and who do you got?
Venom.
Yeah.
If I just had to go and hopefully just have a bunch of these spider guys and just threw a dart at it, maybe Miles, I guess. I don't know.
Zach, who are you sticking? Who are you taking?
I would much rather take 2 spider characters than ones and eliminate the symbiotes altogether. Personally, because I think they're overdone. But to me, I would keep Carnage as an antagonist, because he's everything that Venom should have been. But I thought about it for a little bit because I knew if I didn't say Miles and I like Miles, I like Miguel, I like Ben, but to me, the most interesting layered character and that you can still explore is Kane.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And that's why I feel like there's more stories to be told. I feel like Miles' story should have ended with the death of the Ultimate Universe.
Kane's just another flour-based character, another pancake.
I know. Yeah, the flower-based character.
He at least has some pathos, though. That's the thing. I think what Zach's getting at.
My vote is Venom classic. Just take him back to issue 300 and go from there. That's
and just make him a psychotic. Yeah,
that's the best Venom. The weightlifting. I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna go talk to Aunt May. That Venom, not the Venom went off the rails at the Lethal Protector area.
Yeah,
and around 93, he from 88 to 93, he was a great character. And after Lethal Protector, it just went to crap, and it's never recovered since. But I'd keep Venom because I like him visually, and I like Eddie Brock potential, which has been 30 plus years of never reached. Miles Morales is my vote. I like him the most of all of them. However, he does not work in the same universe as Spider-Man. He's a legacy character who is honoring Spider-Man's death and who continues the legacy of Spider-Man, I think. I think he works better that way. I don't like him being called Spider-Man, and we also have another Spider-Man. But I like Miles, and I like Miles's book. And it'll be interesting to see.
Here's the thing about Miles. His book has been not that good the last year. Actually, really since they launched the volume, it's been very mediocre.
It's so padded out. I can't tell you what happens in that book. With the exception of his uncle getting the black suit with the tentacles and coming back to life, and it's just, they messed Miles up when they killed the Ultimate Universe.
Well, you also got to remember too that Bendis was. I mean, when he was probably writing this, he already probably decided he was leaving, Marvel for DC anyway. So, I mean, how invested was he in this stuff anyway at that point?
I guess though the characters that I like better than Miles are Spider-Girl and Miguel.
And trust me, I struggled with Mayday. This question,
but Slott ruined Mayday so bad.
Oh, you didn't struggle that hard. Everybody knew you were going to take a sack of flour over.
No,
come on, everyone knew that.
Yeah. Alas, that is the last question. YouTubers, would you like to ask us anything, all 19 of you, before
I think the YouTubers are asleep.
I think so too. They haven't really been talking that much. Let's do final thoughts, Zach. Final thoughts, sir.
It has been a very interesting.
It's been a fun night.
Series of episodes.
Fun 3 episodes recorded back to back.
I can't wait for the end of the month. I've already bought my tickets for Infinity War.
Nice.
And looking really forward to it.
Josh says Brad and George never told him what their favorite and least favorite Green Goblin stories are. It says Josh. George, you got one?
For me, it'll always be the best Goblin story will always be Death of Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
There's moments, defining moments for heroes, and this has to, in well-written books, this has to happen. Every now and then, the villain must win.
Yep.
It has to happen. The villain has to win sometimes. This is what pissed me off so bad when they brought Jason Todd back to life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it burned me. Not only because I spent money on that damn 900 number to call in and kill that, but also
so you were the one.
But also because the greatest thing that Jason Todd had done up to that point for Batman was die.
Yeah,
for a character and for everything else, and it changed everything. Batman for the longest time didn't want to work with anybody. He became a lot more brutal sometimes. I mean, there was a definite change in Batman, and everyone hated Jason Todd to begin with, so you really didn't lose anything. But I was so pissed when they brought him back. The villain's got to win.
Yeah.
So when you had the villain kill off the superhero's girlfriend, I mean, back in the day, that was huge. JR, you were what, 34, 35 at the time? I mean, what was going through your mind? I mean, like, oh my God, this really happened.
Well, let me see. It was let me put my teeth in, and then it was. He's like, wow, she's dead, really? Wow. You know,
it doesn't get much game changing than that.
No, and then when she didn't come back the next issue or two, it was like, wow, I guess this is for real. So,
and it wasn't just dead. I mean, like the dialogue, and this is the one good point of the Mark Webb ASM2. The only part I liked was that a lot of it felt to me true the way it was done in the comic, where like he's denying it at first. You're not dead. Come on, move, and then like when it finally hits him, he just falls apart. But I mean, like Spidey was like, you can't be dead. Come on, stop fooling, And it's I mean, it was just a really good story. Yeah, it killed the Green Goblin off, but for me, the best story will always be the one where the Green Goblin got killed. The Gathering of the Five. For me, easily is the most piss poor Green Goblin story ever.
Yeah, no.
I mean, holy Lord. Just wow. Even worse than crap Dan Slott has done. And that's saying a lot.
I'll say this. I mean, Revenge of the Green Goblin was an okay miniseries from a writer that usually knocks it out of the park in Roger Stern, but he had a crap sandwich to work with to get that to get the Goblin where he was kind of sane.
I really can't disagree with George on that. I agree with both your best and worst. I can't think of a better answer. All right, I gave Zach a final thought. Let me give Mike a final thought. What's your final thought, sir?
Oh, well, this certainly has been a very entertaining evening, and seeing JR go to certain depths I never thought he would go to. But that's why we like him.
I need you lows.
JR, final thoughts, sir. Are you're back better?
Back better? I'll let you know tomorrow night. We'll see how I sleep.
Oh, we're recording episodes tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, we'll see how I sleep it off.
There you go. George, final thoughts, sir.
I'm glad it's winding down. I've had 2 pots of coffee and I tried to eat half my weight in salad earlier, so time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
An event is about to occur.
Oh my gosh. YouTubers, we're going to do this all over again tomorrow night, or today, actually.
Oh, God.
We're going to record 4 episodes. 2 episodes of Friday Night Fights, 2 episodes of Spider History with JR and George and any other panelists that would like to join us. So I hope you guys come.
I've been on last several months, and I haven't been able to get on. I won't be able to get on tomorrow night, so I'll miss you.
That is horrible news.
Oh, you guys like each other. And YouTubers, you're welcome to join in and discuss the fights with us. Should we give previews of what they can watch?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, nothing.
Man, no tease. No,
surprise them.
No teasers, huh? Okay.
No, expect to see, like the same thing you see every month. You see JR phone it in, and me give you expert analysis on fantastic moments in Spider-Man history.
All right, that's a wrap. I'm done. I'm exhausted.
Oh, man.
YouTubers. Good night.
Good night.
Right, hold on, panelists. Hold on.